What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is
your boy, Jake Mother effing Bulls on the mic. 1-2. We're back. We've been in and out. Like this is like 3 weeks in a row where we just been off one, on one, off one.
Yep.
So we're back. We're not busy for a couple weeks. It is summer. So you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back.
Trying to get these videos out for you guys. Unfortunately, Jake and I have a very busy life, work, vacations, whatever it may be. We got to enjoy our time off as well, but we're going to continue producing content for you guys. We're continuing on with our series where we've been going over the NFL draft, the 2023 draft. We are finally on to the last division for the AFC and NFC. So today we're going to be covering the AFC West. We're going to be getting into that. Before we do that, though, we do have to talk about some news. There was a sad passing in the NFL. We have Ryan Mallett, unfortunately, who passed away. So drafted by the New England Patriots in 2011. Unfortunately, everyone thought that he was going to be the replacement for Tom Brady. And Jake and I just literally talked about this. Tom Brady continued to play for the next 12 years. And then I think he, where'd he go, Jake? Houston Texans, Baltimore Ravens, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was the Texans and then the Texans for a year and then the Ravens for the remainder for the last 2 years of his career. And then he played for the Generals, whatever the TSL is. I don't know what that is. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, it's very sad. It seems like the third former NFL player to like drown or almost drown. So, very sad news from the NFL world, but RIP. Yeah, it's just, if you got to feel for the family, feel for his parents, feel for his wife. I don't know if he had a wife, honestly. But RIP. It's a total bummer.
Yeah, it's always sad when you hear about NFL players because most of them who are passing away, a lot of them are younger. Whether it's car accidents, whether it's drowning, whether it's suicide. The NFL, there have been a significant amount of deaths amongst players in recent memory. So, our condolences to the family. It doesn't mean much, and nothing's going to take away the pain that the family feels, but hopefully they're all doing okay. So we just wanted to show and share our respect with Ryan Mallett and his family, but we are going to continue on with this series, guys. And so we are going to be going on to the AFC West. We are going to be going team by team. We are going to be breaking down pick by pick, and Jake and I are going to be kind of comparing to PFF and NFL.com, I believe is the other site that we use when we compare our grades. So we had a new process. We were kind of originally doing it where we would have PFF do whether they were good, very good, excellent, whatever it may be. We're going to do all that at the end. But guys, right down here at the bottom, follow us on our Instagram at Cannonballs with a Z_podcast. On Jake's side, you can see the division we're doing. You guys can also see it on our background. Jake, you ready to get going?
Yeah, just real quick. It's funny. We've been doing this series for, it seems, months now. I mean,
I think it has been months.
The draft was in April, right? And
draft was in April.
Pretty much
we're
July.
Almost in July. Yep.
Yeah, we are very slow, guys. But again, we are busy. And that's how shit happens. But you know what? It's better than covering mini camp, and nobody cares about that. So at least we have something to talk about. But yes, let's get into the first team of the division. We're gonna go by alphabetical order, and so that means we're gonna start out with the Denver Broncos. Man, they did not have a lot of picks.
No, they did not.
But honestly,
I like their draft.
Yes, yeah. Dude. I think they hit on almost every one of their drafts off their selections. I like their first four players, and then their last player is like, But you know what? We'll see. We'll get into it. I will have a PowerPoint presentation shown in the bottom screen or wherever you guys see it. But yeah, let's get into it, Dane.
All right, let's do it. So with the first pick came in the second round, number 63 overall. The Denver Broncos got a speedster wide receiver in Marvin Mims from Oklahoma. I like Marvin Mims Jr. You know, he's got decent height. I think he's a little bit less than 200 pounds. I could be wrong. I thought he was in like the 180 range, but you know, PFF, they do like to I don't know, like certain parts of their website, you can have one weight and then they'll have another weight in a different part. But I'm pretty sure he was under 200. Either way, the guy can fly. He ran a 4.3840. Let's see, his broad jump was almost 11 feet. Vertical was just under 40 inches at 39.5. The guy's a beast, and he's got good hands. He's a decent, I would say, decent route runner, but he's going to be your deep threat. And you know, Russell Wilson does love to throw a deep ball. He's not good in the intermediate range when it comes to in the middle of the field. He's good at the out routes, and he's good at the deep balls. So I think that this will be one of Russell Wilson's key additions to this year's offense. So I like the pick overall. I was really hoping that if the Chargers didn't go wide receiver in the first round, that he would have fallen to them in the second, and then they could have picked him up. But didn't work out. We'll still see him in the division, so we'll see how he pans out. I think he's a great addition. I like the pick.
Yeah, I really like this pick, honestly. Watching his tape so far, he's been my favorite wide receiver to watch. I don't know what it was. He has hands. He goes up for it. He's fast. And he's going to a really good wide receiver room. So, yeah, like you said, Russell Wilson is going to have a lot of toys to play with this year. Hopefully they can, figure things out and not implode like they did last year. He is a little small. PFF gets their weights wrong, but NFL.com has him listed as 5'11", 183.
Yeah, so that's what I have. I knew he was in the 180s. I don't know where they got 200. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so and
this
guy
is have him at 6'3" also, or am I tripping? Did I read that wrong? I thought it said he was 6'3" as well.
Yeah, they did. Wow, that is way off. That is way off, PFF. What are you doing? No, but this guy, like I said, he was. I don't know. There's something about him that just was very intriguing watching him. And he was my favorite wide receiver so far to watch tape on. So I think I like this pick a lot. And, he's going to a really good wide receiver room, so he's just going to learn from good wide receivers. Let's get into the next pick. All right. The next pick they have is Drew Sanders. I really like this pick also. I believe he's a converted edge. Yeah, he's a converted edge rusher. They moved him to linebacker. He played edge at Alabama, and man, it did wonders for his career because he was kind of caught in the mix in Alabama, and as soon as he moved to linebacker, he just became a beast. Honestly, I keep talking about that new hybrid kind of like between a safety linebacker kind of build, and this guy fits that mold. Man, he just looks like he flies to the ball. And he can do some coverage stuff, but he would look like he excels in the run game. And PFF has him as their number 2 ranked linebacker. So he looked pretty good, solid to me. I think he's gonna, he's going to a already good defense. So he doesn't have to come in and start right away. He can learn from, people that are in front of him. But I think, the Broncos will probably use him as a kind of a blitz package kind of thing. And then maybe eventually, have him, rotate with the starters. But I like this pick a lot.
I like this pick a lot too, and you already touched on it. I think you can use him still at the edge or as a stand-up linebacker, off-the-ball linebacker. I think you can use him as both. He is really good when it comes to blitzing. I think that his coverage is kind of overlooked. I think that that's actually somewhat of a under the radar strength of his. I think he's pretty athletic for his size. I think he's like 232 right there, 6'5". But yeah, he's a hard hitter. And, watching him play, he plays with physicality, and he was a former 5-star recruit from high school, if I'm not mistaken. So he's got potential. He's got athleticism. Like you already mentioned, he's going to a good defense. So I like this pick a lot.
Yeah. Now I got to check all their weights. NFL has them at 6'4", 235, and PFF has them at 6'5", 232. So, they're pretty close. And man, this guy had one of the most beautiful tackles. You know, he has very good vision, and he's able to kind of keep blockers in front of him without getting a control of his pads. So I like that. But yeah, man, I think he's gonna excel in this defense once he, you know, learns it and everything. But another good pick by the Broncos.
Agreed.
Next pick, I think honestly, this could be a very controversial pick. Only because I think he has the Christian McCaffrey stigma. So, you know, when Christian McCaffrey was coming into the draft, nobody thought he was going to be good because he was a white running back. Yes. I think this is the same thing. He's a white cornerback. There's
forgotten race.
Yeah, there's like zero starting cornerbacks in the NFL.
There have been like zero starting white cornerbacks for years.
Yeah, I think the last one was like Night Train Lane back in the 50s for the Detroit Lions. I could be. I think
I don't think it's been that long, but like it's been a long time for sure.
But what do you think of this pick? Because I mean, from his tape, he looks pretty solid. I mean, he looks like a tackler.
He's got talent, man.
Yeah, he looks like he can go up there. So what do you think?
You know, since I think it was since 2018, he's had 11 interceptions. You know, he's physical. He's athletic. He's a bigger cornerback. He's, I think, over 6 feet. I think he's around like 6'1". 40-yard dash was in the 4.4s. Vertical jump was almost 40 inches. Broad jump was almost 11 feet. So he's got athleticism. He's got good ball hawking skills. Played at Iowa, which is an overall good defensive school. They've been a good defensive school for years. I don't know if there's going to be a stigma attached to white cornerbacks because it just hasn't happened in the NFL in a long time. I'm not saying that he's not going to play. I'm just going to say it might be harder because I think there is a stigma attached to white cornerbacks. Maybe they're not as fast. Maybe they're not as athletic. But if he balls out in training camp, which he might, because he's got the athletic tool set to do it, he could find himself a rotational job. He could rotate in on certain packages. And, you know, I'm kind of excited to see what he does. I do think that he can be a little late when it comes to turning and finding the ball downfield. Sometimes the burst isn't there as much, but, you know, explosive vertical leaper, he's got the high point, you know, that's where the interceptions came in. He's well positioned for the most part when defending high and low route concepts. I think that you can use him against the run as well. I think that he could put a little more weight on the frame. I think he's under 200 pounds, but at 6'1", you know, if he just got up to 200 pounds and was able to maintain the speed, watch out. I think this guy could ball. Yeah.
I'm pretty interested to see what he can do on that defense. You know, Surtain's got that other side. I'm not really sure about the other cornerback position, but you know, I can see him getting some reps definitely. All right, next pick, J.L. Skinner, Boise State. What do you think, Dane?
I love this pick. J.L. Skinner is a freaking thumper.
Oh, yes,
this dude is a hitter,
and I respect. Giant.
I respect. Yeah, dude, he's like 6'4", I think. He's over 200 pounds. He's got 32-inch arms. Hands are a little bit small, which is interesting for a guy that size. But, dude, he hits hard. And I know that Boise State isn't like the greatest program in the world, but, you know, they've been like in the top 25 here and there. And I don't know, man. When I watched this tape, watch out. He reminded me of not Talanoa Hufanga, maybe a little bit just with like how hard he hits, but I'm trying to think. We covered him already. He was drafted earlier. I'm trying to remember. It'll come to me. Skip over that part, but dude, he's a thumper, and you can utilize him in the run game. Kind of reminds me of a Derwin James, where you can utilize him in the run game and like put him in position, maybe against the slot, maybe against a bigger tight end. And dude, I think he positions himself well. I think that this is kind of a steal, in my opinion, getting him as late as they did. I didn't think that he was going to be here in the 6th round, so good for them. I like the pick a lot.
Yeah, I could see this guy playing anywhere. You I think mostly on the line of scrimmage, kind of get him in the run game and stuff like that. But yeah, he can hit his highlight reels, just, hit after hit. It's pretty awesome. He can go up and get the ball too. But man, Broncos I think they got some young studs. Next pick, who we got? Oh, okay. This one, one of your boys from Oregon, Alex Forsyth. And I went on to watch his highlight reels and stuff. There wasn't really much tape except for one like 2-minute long video, and it was the best video. Well, can I finish this, dude, real quick?
Yeah.
It was the best video because it was against Georgia, and this dude, I'm pretty sure it might have been a different player, but I'm pretty sure he pancaked. What the hell's his name? The dude from the Eagles just drafted.
Jalen Carter?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he pancaked Jalen Carter, and I was impressed. He's got really quick feet. I like how he keeps moving them. He can pull, and he's a mauler. So I don't know. You tell me your opinion. You watch more Oregon games than I do.
I like him. He is unathletic as shit. I'm going to say that. I mean, he is a center for a reason. I think that his pass blocking sets are pretty good. He's good at double teaming. He'll come in and blindside someone for sure. And he is a thumper. He's pretty strong, especially in the run game. He can move the pile a little bit, and you can pull him, but it's tough, man. Like, there's a reason he got drafted in the 7th round. Like, I think he's good and he can push people back. He's a pile mover. But I think that there's a lot of technique that he's got to work on, especially when it comes to pass blocking sets. Like, he's good, but he can definitely get beat if there's like some interior pass rushing move sets that he hasn't seen. So I like it, not in love with it.
Yeah. All right. So PFF graded the Marvin Mims draft pick as good, Drew Sanders as good, Riley Moss good, JL Skinner good, and they didn't give Alex Forsyth a grade. Overall, if I had to grade this, I really like the Broncos. I mean, it's not a lot. That would be my only, gripe against their draft. That 5 picks, that's not a lot, but they mortgaged the future
They traded a lot for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so they're paying for that. But with that said, I think they got a lot of quality players with 5 picks. I mean, 4 out of the 5. I think 4 of the 5 can be. Well, let's see. I think Mims is a starter. I think Drew Sanders is an eventual starter. I think Riley Moss.
I think Sanders is going to see the field his rookie year for sure.
Yeah, I think they got 4 potential starters. Maybe not like right away, but I think maybe in the future, rotation players. I think they're all going to see playing time for sure. And even the center could see playing time because their offensive line wasn't great last year. So honestly, I'm gonna give it a B+. I like their draft.
Yeah, I'm gonna go just a tiny bit lower. I'm gonna go a solid B. I think that every player is super solid. There's not necessarily one, in my opinion, that is like an exceptional pick to me. I know that you're a little bit higher than Marvin Mims than I am. Maybe that's why you're a little bit higher on the grade. But I think that they got quality at every single pick. I think the best value they got was the JL Skinner from Boise State. I like that one a lot. And I think that, if he can clean up technique a little bit and a couple other aspects of his game, I think that'll be a home run pick because that guy plays with physicality and he's going to Denver, which is a great defensive program. So he's going to be a beast. So I like it. I'm going to give it a B.
All right. So PFF graded their draft grade as a B+, and NFL.com gave them a B. So Dane agrees with NFL and I agree with PFF.
There you go.
So there you go. All right. That was the Broncos. Let's move on to the hated team, the team that we love to hate, the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think they had a great draft. I don't think they had a terrible draft, but I don't think they had anything special, to be honest. But we can get into it. Maybe I just love to hate on teams that are good. Actually, there were some players that I do like off their draft, but we will get into it once I can scroll down.
That's fine. Sorry. Yeah, I think that in the last like 3 or 4 years, this is probably my least favorite draft by the Chiefs, because usually after watching the Chiefs draft, I'm like, God damn it, here we go again. They just reloaded on everything. And I think that they did add a couple of key players, which we will talk about. But I don't think that this was their strongest draft that they've had in recent memory. So starting off with pick 32 in the first round, we have Felix Anudike-Uzomah, and I loved this guy.
Yes.
I really loved watching this guy on the edge. And I think that he was kind of overlooked in this process because of how deep this edge rushing class was in 2023. But I'm trying to remember the team it was against, but he had 4 sacks in one game. Like, the dude balled out.
I think it was against Kansas.
Was that who it was against?
I think
it might have been against Kansas, but the dude's a beast, and he's aggressive. He's got good bend to his game. He's got good size. He's 6'3", 255, almost 34-inch arms. Hands are almost 10 inches. He's athletic. The production was there. There wasn't much that I didn't like about his game, to be perfectly honest. I think that in other drafts where the edge rushing class maybe wasn't as deep, I think he could have gone like top 15, top 20 at least. So I like the pass rushing set. I think maybe he could be a little bit better against the run, but the dude's a beast. And going to Kansas City, their defense has never been like the highlight of that team, but it's nothing to scoff at, nothing to make fun of, because their defense always clutches up in key moments. And he's going into a good edge or a good defensive line group with Chris Jones on that side. So I think that this is a good addition. I like this pick a lot.
I like this pick for 2 reasons. One, I think he's a beast. 2, I still don't think they've re-signed Frank Clark. I think Frank
Clark's gone. I think Clark's gone.
I think they are looking for a new edge rusher to step up, and this guy could potentially be the new replacement, the starter. So I think he could come in. Him and George Karlaftis. How do you say his name?
Karlaftis, yeah.
Yeah. Purdue. So I mean, that dude's in his second year. This is a rookie. I think they're gonna have stud edge rushers for quite a while. Sorry, Dane. I think this guy's a stud. I think George Karlaftis is a stud. I think they're going to complement each other.
I think Rashawn Slater is going to put them both in the ground. I don't give a shit as long as he's out there.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, I mean, so
was that too much?
I was not expecting it, but yeah. I think he's a beast. I like this pick a lot.
Yeah, man. I think it's a good way to start. I think it's a great pick. So let's move on to their second pick. Round 2, they got their wide receiver from SMU, Rashee Rice. And I think this is a solid overall good pick. He's not an elite burner. He's got good hands. He's got good after the catch ability. I think he's going to be Mr. Reliable. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Juju. I think that it's like a Juju 2.0, but a younger version. Hopefully he can stay healthy, but he's got good size, good height. Yeah, man. I mean, he's got hops. He can vertical jump 41 inches. So the athleticism's there other than the speed. Broad jump's good. So he's got the explosiveness. I think it's a solid pick. I'm not in love with it, but he's got Patrick Mahomes tossing him the ball. So it'll be a freaking great pick.
Jesus Christ. I hate fire.
Oh, I thought someone was shooting guns off in your neighborhood.
Jesus, I fucking hate fireworks.
Your dogs are about to go crazy.
Yeah, they're on a walk right now. Sorry, guys. But it seems like the Kansas City Chiefs draft a wide receiver every year, and we kind of all scoff at their wide receiver picks, but they always end up just like in that system, what they're asked to do, they just excel. And, the Kansas City Chiefs just find these dudes that can perform for them. So if the Chiefs picked him, must be a reason. I thought he was, not super quick, but I thought he could go up and get it. He's bigger bodied dude. So I don't think the Chiefs have had like a bigger wide receiver, like that. It seems like they always had those speedy, quick guys. But we'll see what he can do. I don't hate the pick. Not like super overly excited about it, but yeah, I kind of right there with you, Dane.
All right, cool.
All right, this next pick, out of Oklahoma, Wanya Morris. They need linemen. Lost a couple in free agency. I think I can say one more negative about him. Like, I don't think he's terrible, but I think what I've noticed when I watched him is he has a tendency to kind of like over pursue the blocks. And he kind of like gets turned around. I don't know if I'm doing a good job of explaining that. He kind of like over pursues, and then it looks like he could get called for a holding call like almost every time, at least from what I saw. Just got to fix that up a bit. But he looks like a big dude. Some good footwork. Decent. Not like, again, not overly excited about it. Like I said, I'm not overly excited about the Chiefs draft, but they need offensive line help. So, yeah. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the side of I want to see him be a little bit more physical. I feel like there are too many times where I watched his tape where I felt like he could have finished a block better or put more effort in. I just felt that there was something left out on the field. And that's like one thing that you hate to say or see is like when you leave something out there on the field that's left to be desired. Like if you play with your heart and you leave everything out on the field and you played your fucking ass off, good for you. But if like you see something on tape and you're like, shoot, man, I could have done this better. I could have made this block. I could have pulled a little bit quicker. I could have, gotten to the second level a little bit better. I think that that's what was left for me. There was more to be desired from his tape. I think that there are certain pass blocking sets where you look at him and you're like, I can see the potential. Yeah. And go ahead.
I was just about to say that. I think he excels better in the passing game than in the run game. Run blocking is a kind of a mentality thing. Like it's, you got to be bigger and stronger, and you're going to put that dude in the dirt. And it's just, either you got it or you don't. Sometimes you can't really learn it. I mean, most of the time, maybe you can, but I don't think you can. But sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good, man. Yeah, I like the pick. I think he's a developmental piece. I don't think that he's going to be coming in and turning heads immediately. I think that there's a lot left for him to improve on.
Yes, agreed. Next pick. Oh, they don't even have it. So we'll just talk about it.
Chamari Connor.
Yep, Chamari Connor Chamari Connor out of Virginia Tech. I've noticed this since we started this series. My hardest position to grade and discuss and talk about is cornerback. It's so hard for me. I don't know what it is. They made a play. But sometimes it's like, I mean, they have good, you can see if a player has good ball skills, like if they're constantly getting picks and shit, but I don't know. So I'm going to let you talk about this one because I have a hard time talking about cornerbacks.
That's fine.
Unless they're just completely shut down.
I don't think that Chamari had the best production at his collegiate career, but, he's got decent athleticism. His vertical jump was almost 41 inches. Broad jump was 10.5. 40-yard dash is a little bit on the slower side from what you would like to see from a corner. He ran a 4.51, so maybe because he is a little bit bigger, he's 6 foot, 202, you could put him in the slot, maybe put him against some tight ends. I think that he's okay. He was a 4-year starter. He was a 2-time captain. So, he's got that leadership mentality that you like to see. Other than that, I think that you can utilize him maybe more so in zone defense. I just feel like if he's put on the outside, he's going to be just outmatched against speedy receivers. He lacks the quickness. I feel like maybe he could improve also with the angles that he takes when it comes to tackling. I think that maybe he can over pursue at times. So I think that there's a kind of like the last pick. I think that there's a lot left to be desired from his tape. But, Kansas City, they just know how to make players work. And I think that they'll coach him up. And I think that he could be a pivotal piece for them in the future.
All right. This next pick doesn't have a PowerPoint, unfortunately, but this player is very intriguing to me. BJ Thompson out of a college I've literally never heard of. Stephen F. Austin. Ever heard of it? I haven't.
Stephen F. Austin State.
So, he had a 1 minute reel or 1 minute clip of his highlights. This guy is twitchy, man. Imagine
he's tall too. He's lanky.
Yeah. Imagine Tyreek Hill. Okay, maybe that's a little exaggeration, but you know how twitchy Tyreek Hill is.
Right.
Imagine Tyreek Hill bigger, stronger, taller, and lining up on the defensive line. That's how twitchy this guy is. He's definitely a project kind of player.
Yeah.
And he was like that one player that I was intrigued by. I forget. He was out of Louisiana Tech. We talked about.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I think that we talked about him on the last episode, if I'm not mistaken. It was either the last episode or the episode before.
Yeah. So this guy is. I don't know if he's gonna see the field, this year, but I feel like if they can develop this guy, he could be something special. I don't know. Just the twitchiness of this guy. He's very intriguing to me.
Yeah, I like the motor and the pursuit aspect of his game. He's a high motor guy. He pursues to the ball. He doesn't really give a shit if it's on the opposite end of the field. He's going to pursue, and that's what I like. It's the pursuit, the enthusiasm, the drive, the mentality, I think is what I'm banking on if I was the Kansas City Chiefs with his play in college. He's not going up against the best, competition. So we have to keep that in mind. He's not going up against Alabama tackles and stuff like that, but you want to see him dominate the lower competition, which he did. So I think that, like you said, it's a developmental piece and you're kind of banking on the upside of him.
All right. This next pick is my second favorite pick in the Kansas City Chiefs. And I believe just like how Felix, what's his name?
Felix Anudike-Uzomah.
Yeah, I think he's the replacement for Frank Clark. I think this guy is the future replacement for Chris Jones.
Chris Jones,
yeah. This guy, he is something special, man. I can already see him dominating defensive or offensive linemen. Keandre Coburn out of Texas. He is 6'2", 343, and his feet. He's fast, man. He is fast. Watching him, I was like, how the hell are you getting around the line of scrimmage like that? He reminded me of Vince Wilfork. He's super athletic, giant, but super athletic and batting passes down, just crushing lines of scrimmage. And he gets to learn by there's not a lot of nose tackles in the NFL currently, I don't think, but Chris Jones is probably one of the best ones. He's probably a top 5 interior lineman, and he's going to learn behind one of the best. So I really like this pick, and, I think it helps them for the future as well.
Yeah, I think this is a great depth piece and rotational piece to start the season. The guy's mean. He provides some actual interior pass rush. He's actually good with his hands. He's got some quick, nimble feet for how big he is. He's got power too. I think he's got a nasty bull rush. He's definitely going to help eat up some of the space in the run game as well. I think that this is a good value pick in the 6th round where they got him.
194.
Yeah, 6th round. Yeah, I like the pick. I think that I actually like this pick a little bit more than the previous two. personally.
Same.
So,
I like it better than the previous 3.
Yeah, that's true.
And then this last pick, we don't have to share that. This last pick doesn't have a lot of tape on him, doesn't have a PowerPoint on him. Nick Jones out of Ball State. I really, again, not a lot of tape. I really can't say an opinion on him. So
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even see much tape on him either. I just know that for a cornerback, he does not have necessarily the athletic profile you would hope for. He only had a 34.5-inch vertical jump, ran in the 4.5s. Broad jump was 10.2. I can only really talk on that because I didn't get a chance to see too much tape on him. So I will say that developmental piece for sure, special teamer, and yeah.
So looking back on their draft, they really have 3 players that I think can be starters. And then they have a lot of depth and developmental pieces. So for me, I'm, like I said, I really didn't love the Chiefs draft. So maybe I'm being a little hard, but I almost want to go C. But I think I like they're good players. I'm gonna go B-. I think they're good. I think the players that I like are gonna make an instant impact. So, and I really like that nose tackle they got. So I'm gonna give it a B-.
Damn, I thought I was being fair with a D+. I'm just kidding. I'm not going D+, but fuck the Chiefs. I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna be a little bit lower. I think that it's a C+ for me. I don't think it's a C. I think it's a little bit better, but not quite a B. Just because I think that a lot of these players are not going to be immediate impact players. I think that there will be 2, maybe 3 with Rashee Rice as well. But I think Felix Anudike-Uzomah for sure. I like Keandre Coburn, and then Rashee Rice. I think we'll see the playing field. I think that he'll eventually be the replacement for Juju. So,
all right. So that is the Kansas City Chiefs. Next team on the list of the AFC West is the Las Vegas Raiders. Honestly, I think the Raiders had a really good draft as well. They had a lot of picks. They had the most picks out of this division, but I think looking at it, just there's like only a couple ones I really didn't like, but we'll get into it. Sorry. What's the first pick, Dane?
Oh, first pick. I am pretty upset about this one. Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. This guy, dude, if you want to talk about like length, this guy's wingspan is ridiculous. He has 35 and 5/8 inch arms. Dude, it's like if Bigfoot was trying to like wrap you up and hug you. And his production was there. He's quick off the ball. He's got bend. He's got good hand placement. He's got power. You can utilize him in the run really well. He's a great pass rusher. This dude's a freak. He's an absolute freak of nature. And dude, yeah, this is a home run pick. I think I really loved watching Tyree Wilson's tape. I think that him and Will McDonald, who I was really high on, I think have a very similar play style to a certain degree, and I like the way that they play. But dude, it's so hard to get around this guy because of how long his arms are and how strong he is. So yeah, I like the pick a lot. I think it's great.
Yeah, I like the pick a lot too. Like you said, his reach is insane. Like constant reaching around tackles and just getting strip sacks. There's a couple things comparing him to Myles Garrett. Not really the play, but the Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, no. I'm like cutting out a lot, so I was like, "What is happening? Why?" Because it looks like I just like the.
But yeah, there is some comparisons of his body type like Myles Garrett. And if he can play anything like Myles Garrett, man, the Raiders are gonna have a nasty pass rush between him and Max Crosby.
Just thinking about that is scary. It is scary.
I mean, damn, you look at the defensive lines in the AFC West now, like they're pretty freaking solid, man. I'm excited. I think, we'll see what happens, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, I really like this pick. He is an athletic freak, just constantly, like I said, stripping the quarterback, and he's playing with some good linemen. So, hopefully they can, and they needed it because the defensive line was not that great last year. So hopefully it can help in the run game as well.
They have Jerry Tillery though, so I don't know how well that's going to be.
Yeah, we'll see. So their next pick, which was a pretty shocking, I would say. Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame.
The fact that he fell this far to them is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And this guy was he was projected to be the number 1 tight end, projected a first round talent, and he dropped to the 2. And looking back at all the tight ends how many tight ends? 2 taken before him?
No, I think he was the second one taken.
Okay,
I think because I know Dalton Kincaid was the first one. I'm trying to remember if Sam Laporta went before him or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been so long since the draft, but they let go of, or they traded Darren Waller, and they found his replacement. And I don't think Michael Mayer is on the same athletic ability as Darren Waller, but he's pretty close. He's kind of more of like a Jason Witten, gonna get open, just gonna be Mr. Reliable for you, and he's gonna help in the run game, which they're gonna want to run the game especially with Josh Jacobs. Run the ball. Sorry, they're gonna want to run the ball with Josh Jacobs, so he's gonna help. If
Josh Jacobs even plays, you hear that he's holding out. Yep.
Nah, I did not.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs holding out. Yeah,
the running back market is dying, guys. Sorry, no more high paid running backs. But I watched this dude for 3 years at Notre Dame. I watched him when I first heard of him, they were calling him Baby Gronk, and I'm like, Baby Gronk, really? But literally, the way he plays is just like Gronk. He's a big dude. He goes up. He doesn't, like I said, not crazy athletic, but he's gonna come in and help whoever their quarterback is. I'm not really sure yet. I don't know about if Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy. So
no, it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, so we will see, and that we can talk about a pick later. So, but yeah, I like this pick. I think the Raiders got a steal, honestly. And what do you think?
I definitely think they got a steal. This is when we did our position rankings. We did our top 5s. He was your 1A. He was my 1B, basically. Me and you just had Dalton Kincaid and him flipped. He's great. He's Mr. Reliable, got good hands, utilize him in the run game. He's going to box out defenders. He's going to utilize his frame to prevent people from getting in his way. He's not going to burn anyone. He's not going to, break him. He can break a move, but he's just going to use his athletic ability to high point a ball and, box out defenders. So I like it a lot. I think that he's just going to be great. Like you said, Jason Witten, I think is hitting the nail on the head.
That's his player comp. That's hilarious. What's funny? Our top tight ends went to, I think, the perfect situations for their play styles. The Raiders are more of a run centric offense, and kind of, especially if Jimmy Garoppolo is playing, that's more of like dink and dunk. And then Dalton Kincaid went to the Buffalo Bills, which is a pass happy offense. So I think they just went to the perfect situations for their careers. So yep. I'm excited to see both of them. But the next pick, we have Byron Young out of Alabama. And this player doesn't really pop. He's not like a sexy pick, I would say. But he gets the job done. I think he's gonna, and especially like I said, that Raiders defensive line was atrocious last year. Besides like Max Crosby,
Besides their pass rush.
yeah, it like they couldn't stop the rush like to save their lives, and I think they addressed that in this draft. And I think this is what he does good. I think he's going to come in and help them stop the run. He's a pretty big dude. I think he can play edge. He's kind of in between, or what would you call it, a tweener. I've seen him on the edge. I've seen him on the interior. He's kind of like, if he's going to be in the interior, I would like him to bulk up a little bit more, but I don't think he's fast enough to stay on the edge. So I don't know. It's just, he's going to be all over the line, I think, till he finds a spot. But, I think this is a solid pick. I'm not like crazy about it like the first two, but I think it's solid.
I think it's solid as well. I think that it'll beef up the interior a little bit, help with the run game. He can get after the passer. He has some pass rushing moves, but like you said, it's not the sexiest pick, but he did play for Alabama. He's going up against top tier quality talent. So, he's battle tested. I think that with this defensive line group and the defensive coach, they'll be able to coach him up into being a starter. And there's no doubt in my mind that he will see snaps this year.
Yeah. This next pick is pretty fun.
I like this.
Me.
I like this pick a lot, actually.
Yeah. Trey Tucker out of Cincinnati. I'll let you take the lead on this one.
So Trey Tucker, I don't necessarily think had the production from his collegiate career that you would like. He's a little bit on the smaller side. He's like 5'9", 182, but he's got good speed and he's got good route running, consistent hands. I wish that, maybe he had a little bit more explosiveness, but he is very reliable. He's shifty, he's elusive, and I think that he's going to be a good vertical threat depending on who the quarterback is. So I like the pick.
Yeah, that wide receiver room is going to be very interesting this year. Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Mayer, and Trey Tucker. You could use this guy as like a specialty guy, a wide receiver screen guy, end around guy. So I think this is just going to be another, wrench in the McDaniel system. It's just really dependent on who the quarterback is, but we will talk about that later. But I do like this pick. He has some, explosiveness to him. He is a little small, but that's really the only thing I could say that I don't love about him. But I like this pick a lot.
All right. Moving on to, I think, actually my favorite pick of the draft. This is my personal favorite because of the upside potential. This is the other Maryland cornerback who just tested off the charts. 4.3 40 and a half inch vertical jump, broad jump over 11 feet. And, he balled out like his counterpart. And Jacorian Bennett may not have had like the best statistical like performance when it comes to like PFF or anything like that. But you see the upside, you see the potential, you see his rebound potential, you see his ball skills, his athletic profile is on display every time he's going up for a jump ball. He's physical as well. He's not the smallest, but he's also not the biggest, but he plays bigger in his game tape. So I like this pick a lot. I think that if they can, get the ball production to where his athletic profile is, he's going to be a steal in the draft.
Yeah, I was saying earlier that I had a hard time grading cornerbacks unless they just really pop out to me. This guy popped out to me. He looks very solid. But that's all I'm going to say. I don't really like talking about cornerbacks.
That's fine.
All right, this next pick. This next pick, I don't hate. You might hate on this pick.
I don't hate it. I just think it's funny because I think they have a quarterback room with like very similar talents. That's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, I get that, but like maybe it's like if you want to run the offense you want to run, you want to have similar quarterbacks in the, I get that. I get that 100%. Yeah, but I like this pick mostly because I have no idea if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starter at the beginning of the season. I haven't heard anything on him. Last I heard was
He failed his physical.
Yeah. So like what does that mean? Is he not on the team? Is he on the team?
There is an out in his contract where if he's not able to perform or be in there by training camp, I think that they have an out, is what I had heard.
So, and the shitty thing is they let Stidham walk. So I don't know who the hell is on their quarterback depth chart. Like, I will have to look at it right now. But I will say this, like, if they have to go to this guy, it's not the worst thing in the world. He has a decent arm. It's strong enough. He's somewhat accurate. He honestly, like, his throwing motion reminds me of Peyton Manning. I know. Don't crucify me, Dane. I'm not calling him Peyton Manning. I'm just saying the way he looks on the field, he looks very Peyton Manning-esque. Just like his build, the way he throws. But he didn't look terrible to me. And his rookie quarterback pictures were hilarious. So.
That's why I was laughing, bro. I looked him up on NFL.com, and it's just the cheesiest smile, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So here, real quick before you. All right. So they got Brian Hoyer and Chase Garbers if Jimmy Garoppolo is not playing. If for some reason Jimmy Garoppolo is not on the team, so yikes. Yikes. So I don't know, but what do you think about Aiden?
I'm not going to say too much. I think he's a solid quarterback. He's not going to blow you away with any like amazing throws, but he was pretty reliable at Purdue. He had a good season this last 2 seasons, actually. Like, he's not bad. He's not a bad quarterback, but he's not going to blow you away with any spectacular throws. He can be accurate. He can make good throws. He can, kind of, his pocket awareness is pretty good, I would say, but he's not athletic. He's not going to be like rushing down the field. He kind of reminds me of a little bit quicker Phillip Rivers, if I'm talking about an athletic profile. But yeah, he's reliable. I think that he'll be good for the system. He'll be safe. He's going to be a game manager, in my opinion.
One of the cons: funky throwing motion that won't be everyone's cup of tea. I told you. Oh man, here's his player comp, Trevor Siemian. Don't do that to the guy. But yeah, so it's gonna be interesting who's gonna be starting at quarterback, but that's a discussion for another time. This next pick, Christopher Smith out of Georgia, and I like this pick. It's kind of like the thing is just like draft Georgia players, right? I think he's a safety. Yeah, he's a safety. I think he's a little small, but I think he was pretty solid. He was kind of going for balls a lot. He would cut the routes. So, they need defensive players on that defense, and they let I think like Rock Ya-Sin go, one of their starting safeties. So he's going to get a chance to compete. So, not a bad pick. I think it's solid.
I think it's solid as well. My biggest complaint about him is his speed. He is slow. He ran for a safety. He ran in the 4.6s. And, I know some safeties are in the 4.5s, 4.4s. 4.6 is a little bit slow for someone his size. He's only 5'11", 192. His production's pretty freaking good, though. He's aggressive. He's got good hands. He can pinpoint a ball. I think he had 6 interceptions over the last 2 years. Like, he can be utilized, and especially against the run. And he's a downhill run defender for a safety. Like, you can see him against the run, like blowing up plays. I think he plays faster than he is, but I do worry that, he will get burnt against elite speed threats in the NFL.
Yeah, 4.6. That's very slow. Would you say his 40 was 4.6?
4.62.
Yeah, that's pretty slow. But if you're a safety and you're anticipating where the ball is, that can kind of help you if you're a little on the slow side. But yeah, I think it's a solid pick. All right, no more for the PowerPoint. So who do we got next? Amari Burney.
I did not see anything on him.
Yeah, nothing on him. I couldn't find it. Sorry, guys. And then Nesta Jade Silvera, your fiance's long lost cousin. Honestly, this guy didn't look bad. I saw some tape on him in Miami. Looks like a good run defender. He looks like he can crush the line of scrimmage. So again, they need that. They need good linemen because they suck at defending the run. But I think I see him rotating because they're gonna. I think they improve their defensive line.
Yeah, I think he's solid. I think that he's an aggressive guy, and that's one thing that I actually like to see. Like, he plays with physicality. He's got a good bull rush. He's definitely not afraid to get in your face. He's aggressive. I like it, man. I think it's just because his production wasn't there, but you see good hand usage. Like, you see him actually shedding blockers pretty easily. He's physical. I like him in the run defense. So I think that, coaching him up a little bit, he will be a starter at some point, in my opinion. I think he has the potential.
Yep.
He's just not athletic.
Yeah. I mean, he's a big boy.
Yeah.
I think it was like in the 300s. Not everyone can be athletic and 350
Jordan
pounds.
Davis, 350 or whatever he was, running a 4.8 or 4.7 40. Jesus Christ.
So I just remembered I didn't go over the PFF grades for the Chiefs, so I'll do that after I go over the Raiders. After we give them our grades as well, so we're not confusing you guys. But PFF gave Tyree Wilson below average, which is very interesting. Gave Michael Mayer elite, Byron Young average, Trey Tucker below average, Jacorian Bennett good, Aiden O'Connell average, Christopher Smith good, Amari Burney below average, and what's his name? And what's his first name? Nesta Jade Silvera. That's a cool name, actually. They gave him an average. So looking at the grade,
I'm going B plus. Personally, I like their draft more than I like the Chiefs.
Yeah, I do too. And so, I mean, Tyree Wilson's going to start.
I'm way higher on Tyree Wilson than PFF is. I don't give a shit if they said that he's below average. Are you kidding me? No. I thought he was elite.
I mean, he was projected as a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I don't see how that wasn't an elite pick. In my opinion, I disagree with that.
I do too.
And like you said, getting the value at Michael Mayer, who's easily a first-round talent.
Yep.
You get Jacorian Bennett banking on the athletic freak. Byron Young, good. I like Trey Tucker. I don't know how they were below average on him as well. Maybe it was the size. I don't know. I like their draft. I'm going B plus.
I mean, their first 5 picks are potential starters, right? Aiden O'Connell, depending on what happens with Jimmy Garoppolo, is a potential starter. Christopher Smith, I could definitely see in the rotation. And Amari Burney, I'm not going to say anything because I didn't watch him. But Nesta Jade Silvera, I definitely can see him, like you said, eventually starting, and I can see him rotating in. So I think there's one pick out of all of them that I'm not sure about. So yeah, I'm going to go B plus as well.
Nice.
You went B plus as well too, right?
B plus, first one we've agreed on.
Yeah. All right. PFF gave them a B minus, and NFL.com gave them a B plus.
Okay. Way to go, NFL.com.
So just so you guys aren't mad at me if you are watching this, the Chiefs grades for PFF, Felix Anudike Uzama, they gave it a good. Raishi Rice, average. Wanya Morris, average. Chamari Connor, below average. BJ Thompson, average. Keandre Coburn, above average. Nick Jones, average. All right, Dan.
Let's get into it.
You've been waiting for, my boy.
Yes. And then next week, your time.
All right. Wait. All right. Before we start this, can I just get a... No. Dan, that's not what I want. I know you know what I want before we start with your boys.
Bolt gang or don't bang.
Hey, let's go! Bolt gang or don't bang, baby. All right,
Oh,
your
man.
boys, my boys, the Los Angeles. I prefer them as the San Diego Chargers, but it's
So
okay.
do I. I like the introduction though.
Yeah. Honestly, I like so I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I went in watching your team's tape and I was like, okay, I can't be easy on them. I don't want to like overinflate them. And I think they had a pretty decent draft, to be honest. But we will get into it.
I will say I was a lot higher on them after I watched the tape because you knew my initial reaction, especially for the first round pick. I was
same. Dude.
But then after watching the tape, I was like, okay, there is a lot of potential here. And
well, yeah. So, let's get right into it because I just want to say, I'll let you mostly talk about your team, but let me just say real quick things and then you can elaborate. But, their first pick was Quentin Johnson. And, I kind of heard you weren't very excited about him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I wasn't too high on him either. But after rewatching his tape, I think he has potential, man.
Yeah,
I honestly, I could see him surpassing Mike Williams as the number 2.
I can also, but for me personally, I mean, this is just getting even further down the line. I mean, I kind of want to focus more on this year, but I think that Keenan and Mike are both going to be gone next year personally. So I think that he could possibly be the new number 1. See, the thing is with Quentin Johnson, I wasn't high on him because I wanted a burner. That's why I was so high on like Zay Flowers or someone of that caliber, twitchy. But, it's not in Tom Telesco's blood to draft anyone under 6 feet. It is just not his. It's just not part of his DNA. So at first I wasn't too high on Quentin Johnson because, I had seen a lot of body catches. And then I started watching the tape more and I realized, okay, he's made one-handed grabs. He's made really athletic contested catches, but he's not consistent with that. So there is the potential for him to be consistent. And I know that it's only OTAs and minicamp, but he's out there proving to everyone that he can catch with his hands. Granted, pads aren't on yet. He doesn't have a defender in his face. So at least it's showing the step that he can catch with his hands, because that was one of the biggest knocks, is that he's a body catcher. But there are games, especially against Oklahoma. There was a game against Oklahoma. He had 2 insane grabs. And he has this one cut move where like he'll grab it, look one way, and then cut the other way, and just breaks ankles left and right. He's not the best at breaking tackles, but it's hard to get to him because he's not the quickest, but he's a long strider. So he gains the momentum. Once he's actually going, he's got speed. So
yeah. Can I say something real quick, Dane?
Yeah, go for it, man.
I think you were saying like what you just said. People don't want to think of this guy as a burner, but on the tape, he looks way faster than he is. It's because of that move. And I think he can make people miss, I think. And he's a big dude, which is a pretty, that's a talent for such a big dude. But that's really all I wanted to say.
Yeah, man. And, he jumped almost 41 inches. His broad jump was 11.2. So he's got the athletic profile. I think he ran like a 4.5 40, but I think that's because it takes him time to get his stride going and get the speed. I think once he's 10 yards downfield, then I think he's running in like the 4.4s, because I think he got clocked in at like 22 miles an hour or something like that. He's got potential. And I think that if he has reliable hands, and not only that, in Kellen Moore's offense, he's going to be utilized, especially in the quick game, slants, dig routes, whatever it may be. And I think that, he's just going to be, I think he could have a good rookie season, especially because the Chargers wide receiving core is usually injured. So I'm excited to see Kellen Moore use this guy in his offense. I'm excited to pair him with Justin Herbert. And it's going to be hard to defend the Chargers passing attack, especially with a new offensive coordinator down the field a little bit more. You have your contested catcher, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, the, greatest route runner that I've seen in a Chargers uniform. And now Quentin Johnson, utilize him in contested catches and in the speed game. So I like the pick. I'm definitely higher on it now than I was when it first happened.
So am I. I think him and Justin Herbert are going to become best friends. Yeah, I like this pick. I'm excited for the future. And if everyone can stay healthy, man, look out. The Chargers do have some weapons. This next pick, and I'm gonna be completely because like I said, because you're my best friend, I had to look at this draft and with
no biases,
with no bias. And honestly, this Tuli Pelotu, I really don't know what to think of him. On the tape, he looks slow as shit. Like, am I wrong? Am I crazy?
So yes, you're correct. Yeah. He is not athletic. He is not but it's weird. Yeah. So I'll let you continue your thought process, and then I'll let you know because I obviously know a little bit more about these players than you probably do.
Yeah. So he doesn't look super quick, but he's constantly making plays. He's strong. Like the way he runs is like he kind of like waddles. I don't know what it is, but they have him listed as an edge defender. They have him listed as a linebacker. I think he's just an edge defender, correct?
He's an edge defender, yes. But So let me get into a little bit of why he looks slow as shit on the tape. They tried moving him from edge to interior, so he gained like 20, 30 pounds to try and play that position. Didn't like that, so then they moved him back to edge, but he had to shed the weight, but he had already gained the weight. So they were moving him from position to position, and he was trying to find the happy median with where his most efficient weight was, where his production was the best. And what's crazy is Tuli Pelotu actually led all of college football in most sacks last year. He actually had the most sacks out of any edge rusher in the entire college football. He's only 20 years old also, so he's the youngest edge rusher coming out of college this year. Wow. So he still has time to grow and develop. Like there's a lot left for this player, and I think it's banking on the potential that he could have because the production was there. But like you said, he doesn't have the athleticism. I think that he's found a good weight now. So I think the athleticism may look a little bit better. Plus, he's going to be learning behind Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, two of the better edge rushers in the NFL right now. So I like this pick more than I originally thought as well. It's kind of been that process. Like I was a little bit harsher because I'm typically harder on the players that the Chargers draft. Like, oh, I like this player more. They should have gone this route. But, I think it's a solid pick. I don't think he's going to be an immediate impact player personally. I think that it's going to be a developmental piece down the road because he's so young also. Like he's got a lot of room to improve.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a right away one day starter. I mean, Joe Bosa, Khalil Mack are still there. And with the knock on wood, the luck of the Chargers, injuries every fucking year. So he'll probably see some playing time, but man, yeah, he's a very interesting pick. I really don't know what to think of him. I think he has potential. Is just so weird to watch on tape. But this next pick I really like.
This is actually my favorite pick.
Yes. Daiyan Henley.
Yeah.
Daiyan Henley, man. And again, I've said it 1,000 times since we talked about the draft this year. That new hybrid linebacker, man. You guys, this guy looks like Fred Warner, man. Reads the holes, is quick, good in the run game, can do coverage. He's a pretty big dude. Not big, but like he's thick, I think. I don't really have this.
Dude, you should okay, like I swing one way and one way only, but this man without his shirt on, dude, he's a freak. Like he is the most shredded player I have ever seen. It is insane. But like he was in karate, kind of like you were, Jake, so he knows martial arts. He only had, I think, 4 missed tackles all of last year. He was a converted wide receiver, so he's only played the linebacker position for like 2 years. And he excels, man. Like he's got good hands, he's good at reading coverage, and he's physical. The dude's just an athletic freak. And so I think that he is going to be Kenneth Murray's replacement because Kenneth Murray just hasn't panned out for the Chargers.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the potential of this guy. I think he's going to be, they're saying he's a little bit small to play in the middle. I think he's going to be fine, especially the way today's offenses are looking like. you want that Fred Warner type linebacker in the middle. I think he's going to be the Fred Warner of the Chargers. And it's funny because his pro comparison is Dre Greenlaw, which is right next to Fred Warner, which, he's one of the best linebackers right now. So I think this guy has a lot of potential. So I really like this pick.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot too. Moving on, this is the first player that I think the Chargers reached on, but I understand why they did it, because we need a punt returner with some juice. And Darius Davis is now the fastest player on the Chargers. I think he ran in the 4.3s, 4.36. He's not the biggest. He's 5'8", 165 pounds. He's like a 2-2 Atwell from a couple of years back in the draft. But dude, once he has the ball in his hand, he's twitchy, he's shifty. He had, I think, the best return percentage for a touchdown in college football. Mm-hmm. And so I see where that they were going. Like, they wanted to try and utilize him in the special teams. They also were going to utilize him in kickoffs, but because of the rule change, I think it kind of hampers or hinders this pick a little bit. So it kind of maybe puts more of a sour taste in my mouth. Like, I like this pick, but now that the rule changed to the NFL kickoff, I think it kind of hinders his performance a little.
Yeah, this guy is electric on punt returns and kick returns. But honestly, like, behind Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnson, who's your fourth? Would it be Guyton?
It would be Jalen Guyton, but because he tore his ACL last year, I don't know if he's going to be out there.
So that's the thing. I honestly see this guy seeing the field, because for some reason there's something. If the Chargers can stay healthy, I see them going air raid. I want to see it. I want to see Justin Herbert just sling that motherfucking rock, dude.
Dude, I do too, man.
Dude, I mean, imagine that, dude. You got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnson, and then your fourth is this speedy dude. Like, come on, that's exciting. You got to let Justin Herbert cook, man. Yeah. I think he sees the field, and I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go very pass heavy. And then you got Austin Eckler out of the background, so it's gonna be fun. I like this guy. I think he has, potential to be a home run ability. Not only on special teams, but on, regular plays too. So I don't hate the pick. Maybe to you is a little bit of a reach, but again, the Chargers can never seem to stay healthy, and True. Depth at wide receiver was kind of a problem last year. So I think it's I think they're just trying to fix
the depth issue.
Yeah, depth issues. Thank you. All right, this next pick, Jordan McFadden out of Clemson. I like this pick. He looks like a mauler, man.
I like this pick a lot. He reminds me a lot of like a Jamari Sawyer, like who we got in like the 6th round from Georgia last year, who ended up having to start and did well at left tackle. Mm-hmm. And it's like a very similar story. I'll just say a very quick thing, and then you can talk, Jake. I like him because he can play multiple positions, tackle, guard, even center. So he's got the versatility. He's physical. He actually blocked really efficiently. And I think he was a captain as well, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe he wasn't, but the production's there. He's got good pass blocking sets, and he's physical. So I think it's a good value for getting him this late in the draft.
Yeah. My favorite thing about him, like you said, he can play the left side. He can play the right side. I think they're going to put him at guard because he was playing tackle, but they listed him as guard right now.
Yeah, he's pretty short. He's pretty short. He's like 6'1", 6'2".
So, but he looks like a big dude, and his pass blocking is pretty good. I think he's a mauler in the run game. So put him next to Penesul. Is that it? No, who's it? Rashawn Slater. My fault.
Slater.
Yeah, put him next to Rashawn Slater and I think that left side of the ball or line of scrimmage.
We're going to move Zion Johnson, who we drafted last year as our 1st round guard, to the left side to be next to Slater. We're going to move Jamari Sawyer to the right side guard, and then Jordan McFadden's going to be a backup, and he could also potentially be a swing tackle. So it's like our offensive line, I think, I love our offensive line now, and it's like, where the fuck was this when Phillip Rivers was the quarterback? Like, what happened to that?
I totally forgot about swing tackles. I I think that's more of his role right now. But yes. All right. The next pick, Scott Matlock. Not a lot of tape on him. I don't know if you found any on him, but
there isn't much, but I do have some stuff to say.
He looks kind of like a Max Crosby kind of dude to me. Crazy on the field,
bro.
He looks like a psycho. I think he can be violent. And you know what? Rotation at the D line is key, I think. So, yeah.
So one thing that I like,
it's solid.
I like Scott Matlock a lot, actually, because he literally said in an interview he's coming for souls and he's coming to take a grown man's job. Like, this man is coming to be physical. And there's not a lot of tape out there, but I was able to find a little bit more than like just YouTube, like just randomly looking up highlights. Like, you actually had to go and look up Boise State tape and like watch it. And this man was a captain. He's got the leadership ability. He is physical, but he was constantly being double teamed. And if you put him on the defensive line with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, if they're healthy, he's not going to be double teamed anymore. And so he's physical. He's going to push you back, and he's good against the run. So that's why I like him. I think it's a solid pick.
Right on. All right. And this last pick, honestly, you may scoff at it, but I think it's a smart move.
I do too. I do too, especially after what happened to the 49ers.
Yes. Not only that, is Charlie Daniel? Is he still on the team?
Who?
What's his name? Chase Daniels?
Chase Daniels is gone. He went over to Denver to be with Sean Payton. And yeah.
Yeah. So he's gone. You know, he's been on that team for a couple of years. And you draft Max Duggan, who was in the Heisman race, right? Correct? I'm not crazy.
Correct.
Okay, so he was in the Heisman race, and I mean, don't get mad at me, but he plays very similar to Justin Herbert. He throws it up and lets his wide receivers get it, go after it. He lets his wide receivers be athletes, and he has some athletic ability, just like Justin Herbert. So, like what I was saying with like the Raiders, you kind of want that same player. Like, you know, knock on wood, Justin Herbert goes down, boom, Max Duggan. You know, he is a rookie, but maybe he can do the similar things that Justin Herbert can do. So I don't hate the pick, and especially if you're getting a Heisman candidate with your last pick, I think it's kind of a steal.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot more now when I started thinking about the fact that not only that, we drafted 2 wide receivers from TCU. He's also from TCU. So he knows the type of routes that they like to run. He knows how they run the routes. He can communicate that to Justin Herbert. There's a lot of things that he can give insight to into the new players that the Chargers drafted. And like you said, this guy plays with a lot of grit, man. Like, he's not the most athletic, but he has heart. And that's one thing that I actually respected, because he would take hit after hit after hit, and he would still run the ball when he had to. He would still get up there, and you know, he plays with a lot of passion, and I respect the shit out of that. And now that we can have an optional third quarterback in emergencies, I think that that's a great rule change. That's the one that we both agreed is great. And having him, he might even win the backup role. He might even beat out Easton Stick, who we've had the last like 4 years. So
yeah.
I think that it's worth it.
Real quick, like, you want to talk about heart? Watch that championship game against
Georgia.
No.
Michigan?
Hell no. No, the championship game, their division championship game against Kansas
State.
Yeah, dude, that was one of the grittiest performances I've watched in a long time. And I think, honestly, if I could, maybe I'm just smoking some hashish, but I could see this dude seeing the field as like a Taysom Hill kind of role.
That's what I was actually thinking as well. Yeah. Utilize him almost like a tight end in a way.
I know, like, I mean, if you're cool with Easton Stick being this too, like, this guy is, like, he can run. He's like almost like a Tim Tebow, and I don't know. I think I could. I'm crazy. I might be crazy, but I could see him seeing the field as like a Taysom Hill. So
I was actually thinking about a play where all 3 are on the field at the same time, and because like Easton Stick, he went to North Dakota State and he had like the rushing potential. Max Duggan's got the heart. It's like, who's going to throw the ball? Who's going to get the ball?
All right. Yeah,
Now
Dane's
I'm
definitely
smoking that
smoking some
hashish.
hashish. But yes, I think it's a very solid pick, and I think it's kind of a steal. So PFF grades Quentin Johnson as good. Tuli Tuipulotu, very good. Dayon Henley, good. Darius Davis, below average. Jordan McFadden, above average. Scott Matlock, above average. Max Dugan, average. Looking at their draft, let me look at it all at the same time. All right, so I do like the Quentin Johnson pick a lot more now. Tuli Tuipulotu, I'm going to take your word for it, but I like the Dayon Henley. I like the Darius Davis. I like the Jordan McFadden pick, and I like the Max Dugan pick. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a B.
That's
Solid
what I was
B.
going to give too. Yeah, I don't. I still think the Raiders had a better pick or a draft because they had more like immediate impact players. I think Quentin Johnson's going to be an immediate impact player as well. I just want to see it because I am very critical of players that the Chargers draft. I might be a little bit harder. Who knows? This draft may end up being one of the better ones they've had in the last 3 years. I don't think that any player is like phenomenal, but I think that every player that they drafted is going to be utilized correctly. Like they were positions of need, and I think that they're solid at what they do. So
yeah,
sky's the limit. I think that'll be good. I want to see them develop correctly. So yeah, I'm going to give it a solid B.
All right. PFF grades them an A minus.
Wow.
And I just closed out the NFL tab. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, guys. Hold up. Give me 1 second. Don't hate me. We're still here. Please just give me a chance. So NFL.com gave the Los Angeles Chargers, formerly San Diego Chargers, a B minus. So we are right in the middle.
Drastic difference, yeah.
Yeah, we are right in the middle of both. So overall, I'm gonna go back to this AFC West graphic. But overall, I think this division got better. I think this division, I'm not really sure about the Raiders because of their quarterback situation. I don't think they're good enough to roll with any quarterback. But I think if they have Jimmy Garoppolo, I think they could be in the mix of things. We'll talk about that in later episode or in future episodes. But I think all these teams, they've gotten some key players. But if I had to grade them from 1 to 4, I'm going Chiefs number 4.
Same.
Okay. I'm going Chargers number 3.
Okay. So I'm going Chiefs 4. I'm going Raiders 1. And I'm stuck between Denver and Chargers. I'm going to go Chargers 2, Denver 3.
I just want to see who the Broncos traded or drafted again.
They had a solid draft. I gave them a B, right? Or did I give it a B plus?
You gave it a B. I gave it a B plus.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going Chargers 2, Denver 3.
You gave the Broncos a higher grade as well.
I gave the Chargers a B as well. I gave them the same grade.
No, you gave the Broncos. Oh yeah, no, you didn't. Oh, my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think the Broncos with what little, with what little they did, I think they had more players. But I mean, not bad. It's not like a huge difference. So you had Raiders,
Chargers? Number 1, Chargers, Denver, Chiefs.
All right. Very good. Yeah, man. Pretty solid job for all these teams, though. I mean, the Chiefs were the worst one, and it wasn't like terrible.
It wasn't bad by any means. Yeah. It was just middle of the pack, average. But guys, that's going to wrap it up. These episodes do take a little bit more time than our other episodes, but we appreciate you if you had stayed tuned throughout the entirety of this video. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our Instagram, Cannonballs with a Z _ podcast. Help us out. Listen to the video for as long as you want to, but the longer you listen to, the better we do. So, Jake, do you have anything to add before we get out of here?
Listen to the whole thing. Don't listen to Dane. Listen to the whole episode. Yeah, thanks for listening. Hopefully next week we can finish this with the NFC West and finally get done with the 2023 draft that happened 3 or 4 months ago. But thank you again for listening, and as always, peace.